Hi, I'm Gabriella. Join me as I explore amazing lifestyle destinations and well-being trends in food, fitness, and beauty. In every episode, I'll take you on a healthy living journey that will refresh, rejuvenate, and re-energize all of your senses. We'll also meet great personalities, feature delightful events, and discover everything that will make you feel good about yourself. Welcome to The Good Life. I'm feeling good. In today's episode, we have mom and daughter Neisha and Sienna, who will give us some fashion tips for the kids. We also have Australian Olympic swimmer Stephanie Rice on the show. And later on, I'm going to explore my creative side by taking painting lessons. Tune in to see my masterpiece. In today's Good Tips segment, I'm with Neisha and Sienna. We took notice of this fashionable mother-daughter tandem because of their trendy and really cool photos on Instagram. So we thought, why not ask them to come on the show and give us some fashionable tips for kids? Hi Neisha, hi Sienna, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks, I'm good. I'm so happy you guys are here to talk to us about fashion.
We're happy to be here.
You have two kids, Sienna and Cole.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about them?
Sienna's 3.5. She's quite excited to start big school in September. Oh, she's 3, sorry.
Okay, 3. Not
but
3
she's
now.
3.5. And she's starting big school in September, so she's very excited about that. Other than that, you know, she's just a girl's girl. She loves to dress up and play makeup. And, you know, in contrast with that, she's really into the Power Rangers at the moment. So she goes around the house, like, you know, doing martial arts and stuff.
Pretty active.
Yeah, she's pretty active. Cole is 1.5. He's a boy's boy. He's rambunctious, and he just falls maybe 3 or 4 times a day. And
gets up again.
Yeah, he gets up again and does it again.
Over and over.
Yeah, his favorite things are cars, and every time I try to, like, you know, see who you play with the Barbie, he like throws her on the floor, breaks her head off. And he's only 1.5 years, so yeah, we know what he likes. But he's also really sweet because if he feels like it, he'll give kisses and cuddles and hugs all day.
Sienna took a quick break, but let's continue our chat.
Yes.
So I went on your blog and I must say I loved it. I mean, first of all, it's not just about fashion. In your blog, you talk about many different aspects of being a mother or a parent. You talk about, you know, what food is good or healthy for kids, what activities you can do. I especially loved your painting tips with like non-toxic paint.
Right.
And things you can do with your kids at home. How did you get the idea to start a blog?
I was at like a crossroads. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my career. I had given birth to my son, and he was, you know, I had stopped breastfeeding, and I was thinking, okay, I'd love to just make a photo album and a life album of our lives together.
I think you're very, very fashionable.
Thank you.
Do you feel like Dubai kind of influenced your style, or were you always interested in fashion?
I've always been interested in fashion, but where I'm from in Texas, you know, it's more laid back. It's you know, we're more casual than chic, but Dubai is very trendy. They're up to date with all the latest trends in Dubai. The women are gorgeous and fashionable. So I think it did influence me in a way that it mixed my style together. I look for comfort and functionality all the time, but now I can actually layer in those trends and those fashions as well. And I think my style has become my own throughout the years, and I'm feeling really good in my skin as well. So yeah.
And what about Sienna? She's pretty trendy as well. I mean, we just saw she's wearing a beautiful tutu and she's quite a girly girl. She likes to get her nails done. Well, I mean, of course, with non-toxic nail polish, I imagine.
Right.
And she likes dressing up in beautiful dresses. Do you think maybe your style has influenced her as well?
I think so, yes. I mean, she sees me. You know, my mother and my sister, they're here in Dubai. They moved a few years after we did. And, you know, my mother and sister are fashion designers, and my sister's a makeup artist, and she's a laser esthetician, and I'm really into makeup and fashion as well. So I think she watches us, and she's definitely influenced by us. And, you know, she's big into fashion and makeup. She really is, but I'm lucky up to this point that, you know, whatever I choose for her, she's happy with.
Yes.
So at least she doesn't have a strong opinion yet.
Enjoy that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I heard there comes an age where they do want to have a say.
Yes.
Personally, I dress my daughter quite casual, sporty. I guess you could call it urban.
Right.
But, every so often I do wear a dress because we get so many dresses, for example, on her birthday,
right, yeah.
or, when you have friends that come and visit, and they're beautiful, but you don't have enough occasions to wear them.
Exactly.
So sometimes I wear them even when we're at home. What about you? How do you decide how you want to dress your children?
Well, it's funny that you said even if we're at home. I mean, it really depends on if we're home, if we're going out, if we have like major events, she'll wear really nice stuff. I like to shop handmade. I like to buy a lot of small stores, designers, because I mean, the work that goes into those clothes is intricate and beautiful, and the designs are so innovative compared to what you find at like the bigger stores.
But I think it's quite challenging here in Dubai sometimes to dress children because, it's so hot during the summers.
Yes.
And then you go into the mall and it's freezing cold.
It really is.
And
yeah.
I mean, to tackle that is challenging.
It is.
How do you usually do it?
For me, number one for children is comfort. So I always look at clothes, even whatever, if it's handmade or from a big store, I look, is she or he going to be comfortable in it? Yeah. And you can always layer, for the mall, bring extra sweaters and stuff like that. But I mean, for me, I don't handle I don't want them to be uncomfortable walking or sitting, and comfort is number one. So if it's not comfortable, it's not going to be worn by them for sure.
There are a lot of luxury brands out there. You were mentioning some independent brands as well.
Right.
But often they're just really, really pricey, and then kids grow so quickly and they can't even wear it for very long. Do you have any, tips or advice on how to make a piece last long? Or do you just think, I'm not even going to invest in those brands? There's no point.
I mean, the really high-end luxury brands are very expensive. So, I mean, I limit those purchases to maybe their milestones, like their birthday parties or their first day of nursery, just for a picture and then take it off. But you can always buy like a size bigger, and they can wear it. I mean, there's outfits that Sienna's been wearing for 2 years.
Really?
They were just, the dresses were just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And you can even, I mean, there's one that I bought for her when she was 2. It was a size 4, and she wore it as a maxi, and now she's wearing it as a dress. And next summer she'll probably wear it as like a mini. But yeah,
that's such a good idea.
Yeah,
actually.
it really it works. I mean, it really does. I mean, you just buy a few sizes bigger.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can make it last.
Yeah, I've done that as well. All of a sudden, it's a tunic.
Right.
It used to be a dress.
But you can still wear it as a tunic and with shorts or pants.
That's so true. Are there any tips that you can give to moms out there or parents generally on how to dress their kids, in a kind of fun way, but also being smart and efficient about it?
Yeah, I mean, number one thing they should look for is to be comfortable. Like I said before, it is honestly a huge tip of mine. You don't want to see children looking uncomfortable. They're children. They're there to play and enjoy life. That's the point of them. So, I mean, they need to be comfortable. So if you're looking to be trendy, you can still achieve it as long as you don't buy something too tight or too itchy.
Or an itchy
exactly.
material.
It's not worth it. They're going to complain. They're going to be miserable. Your day will be, not that great. So it's not even worth it, no matter how cute it is. Number 2 is I would really do some research into shopping small. This is where I get a lot of Sienna's clothes and Kohl's. And Instagram has so many small shops, and the design and the innovation in the clothing is ridiculous. I'm more excited about children's fashion than I am about women's fashion at the moment because it's so impressive. The originality is there, and I would really, really recommend shopping small. And it's a plus because you're helping a family or a mom or a small business instead of a large corporation. Third tip would be if you do want to shop big, I would probably recommend mixing and matching different prints and not necessarily going with how they style it, because it's just basic. Children's fashion is not really fashion in anyone's eyes. It's just basic. It's just clothing. So if you really want to make it cool, just mix and match the fashions and add cute little shoes and accessories, and you can make some really boring, simple outfit really fun.
I just have to say, I completely agree with you about how shopping for kids when you become a mom is so much more fun than shopping for yourself.
Exactly.
Whenever I plan to buy something for myself, I end up bringing home bags of children's clothes. I'm like, what happened?
And especially little girls.
Yes,
oh my
exactly.
God, they're so cute.
It's too tempting. Thank you so much for being on the show and sharing those tips with us, and we look forward to your own children's fashion brand in the near future.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time. Thank you.
Stephanie Rice is an Olympic swimmer who's won 3 gold medals at the 2008 Beijing Summer Games. On one of our visits, I was lucky enough to meet Stephanie and talk about her latest endeavors. I'm here at Splash at the Dusit Thani poolside with 3-time Olympic gold medalist Stephanie Rice. Hi Stephanie, welcome to Dubai.
I'm so excited to be here and chat with you.
Thanks so much. So ever since you've retired, obviously your lifestyle has changed quite a bit. As I understand, since you were a little child, 4 years old, you've always wanted to be a swimmer.
Yeah.
So how's your life changed since you gave up competitive swimming?
Well, obviously swimming or doing any sport at such an elite level requires such discipline for training and nutrition and just lifestyle as well. So I never really had much of a social life, I guess. And I loved that. You know, I put everything into my swimming career, but in finishing it, I really got a chance to balance myself out, figure out what I love to do outside of swimming, and that was really where my initiative for health and wellness and general well-being really became apparent. And I love being able to share that message with whoever I get to come in contact with.
Obviously you were swimming a lot, I imagine, a lot of hours per day. How has your typical day changed from then to now?
Well, when I was training, it was about 7 hours a day. So we trained from 5:30 in the morning till 8, and then I did weights or physical training for an hour, and then in the afternoon from 3:30 till 7. So it was a full-time job essentially, and thankfully I was supported during that process with sponsorships and Swimming Australia. But in finishing, I had to change my entire life. Like, I wasn't wanting to get up at 5:30 anymore. So now I kind of get to wake up when I can or when my day permits, and every day is different for me now. Whereas when I was training, I knew exactly what was happening every day, and I love the adventure that I get to kind of ride on now.
Is there something you miss about that time or that world, maybe the people that you used to interact with, or just the general feeling of competing?
I definitely miss a lot of elements to it. One being that you see your squad and your team every day for 7 hours. I guess it would be like working in a job, because I've never done that. But it's also
like your work colleagues.
But different, because you're encouraging everyone and you're supporting one another, and you're very like intimate and connected with your group. And I miss those like friendships that you build through that process. So there's a lot of that I miss. I obviously miss competing. Nothing will replace the feeling of standing behind the blocks at the Olympics and hearing the crowd, and that's such an amazing energy to be a part of. And I miss that.
Of course, I can imagine. There are so many projects actually we can talk about.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the book Art of Wellness.
Yes.
This is a book that you co-wrote, an ebook about healthy living and all the different aspects like nutrition and fitness. And I guess tell us a little bit more about it.
Okay, so I wrote it about a year ago, and I get a lot of emails, from my website, from people asking me what I was eating when I was training, what kind of foods do I recommend, how do you help with injuries, just like a lot of questions. And I was spending so much time writing back to everyone that I thought, may as well put all this information into a book and have it accessible to whoever is interested. So it's been a great platform for me, and I love sharing the wellness message, because I really truly believe, from the way you structure your day, the exercise you do, the foods that you eat play such a big impact on the way you feel, and then your moods and your energy. So I think it's really important to have those fundamentals right. And I also believe that there are a lot of programs out there that are like an 8-week transformation, or like a very strict protocol, and I don't think that's how we should live life. So I wanted to make it more like you empower the reader to make their choices based off some information.
So another project I find very interesting personally is your water safety course for kids. First of all, my daughter started swimming, splashing in the pool at 3 months already, and I joined this course to teach her water safety, because obviously in Dubai we have a lot of pools, and you just want to feel safe, in case, God forbid, anything happens, that they might be able to help themselves. So yeah, tell me about that. Like, how did you get into that field?
Like, I guess obviously growing up around swimming, I understand a lot about water safety. I understand a lot also about the importance of as a mother, like not that I am one, but I do a lot of babysitting. We have a lot of young people in our family, so it's important to know that if we had a family barbecue or gathering, that if they're all going to play in the pool, you just want to know everything's okay. And so I'm an advocate for kids learning to swim, water safety, and I think getting them in the water as young as you can, which is what you've done, is a fantastic way to do it. And being Australian, we have so many beaches and so many pools, much like here in Dubai. And you come somewhere like where we are today, and there's all these amazing pools, and you want to be able to enjoy them and feel comfortable and confident.
So a lot of people think bring your baby to a pool at that early age, say for example 3 months, which I think might be the minimum, is not a good idea because of the chlorine, and they might find it too shocking, but apparently they find it quite comforting because it reminds them of being in the womb. And I've actually seen how much she's changed in the water. So in the beginning she would just kind of lay there absorbing it and not reacting much, and now she's splashing non-stop. She just gets so excited, and she's not even a year old yet. And I also noticed that she's kicking a lot. So do you think there's a certain age bracket that you can recommend where kids should start?
Well, I think anywhere from as young as 3 months is fantastic, because like you said, and I think every baby is different. So some babies will just not be ready, and other babies love it. So I think you just sort of see as a mother, or where you feel like is the best time. But I definitely recommend younger. Anywhere up between 6 months to a year is really important, because they're learning and absorbing so much, and if you can get them in the water and make them feel comfortable, then it's a really easy transition to help them learn how to get out of the water, how to ask for help if anything was to ever happen, and it's easier to teach that when they're younger.
So what's next for Stephanie?
Given it's the Olympic year, there's a lot of work coming in around talking about swimming and doing a lot of commentary work and presenting. But my biggest passion in what I'm doing right now is my kids' swimwear line. So I've started a kids' swimwear company. So I'll have to give you all the information.
I know, I'm excited already.
So it's for about 3-year-olds up to about 13, and it's called Race Rise. So definitely keep you guys updated.
Yes, please.
And I'm really excited about it because, like I said, obviously love supporting kids and water safety, and I'm doing a lot of work in India around this as well. But to be able to share amazing swimwear, and it's almost like everything I felt like I couldn't find when I was swimming. I had 10 different suits, and I was always like, I wished you could put all of the bits into one suit. So that's pretty much what I've done and made it for kids. So
yeah, I can totally relate to that.
So yeah, I'm doing a lot of work with the Olympics. I'm also doing some work here around supporting and sharing the message of wellness and educating kids in particular about the importance of that, and hoping to help with diabetes and obesity and some of the issues that we also have in Australia.
Yeah.
So just wanting to share that message and overall just be able to have a positive impact on people. So
I think it's definitely a wonderful thing that you're doing, and I wish you lots of luck in the
Thanks
future.
so much.
And hope to see you back in Dubai.
Yeah, me too, me too.
Don't change that channel, because there's more goodness when we come back. As a mom, I always try to find new and meaningful activities to do with my daughter. I think spending quality time is such a good way to bond. Recently, my mom Nanette launched her first solo art exhibit, and it really inspired me to get back into painting and arts and crafts, skills that I would love to teach my daughter one day. I'm here with Lindsay, creative director of Jam Jar, and she's going to tell us more about how painting can be a really great activity for parents and kids to do together. Hi Lindsay, welcome to The Good Life.
Hi Gabriella, thank you.
So when I was growing up as a kid, I loved to paint, and I loved doing arts and crafts, and I do scrapbooks and photo albums, and I was
Yeah.
really quite creative.
Yes.
And later on, when I got a little bit older, I kind of like just shifted priorities, I guess.
Yes.
But there are so many benefits for children to do arts.
Absolutely.
Can you mention some of them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the list is endless for me, if you're asking me. My background is I've been into arts my whole life from a child, and I'm lucky to be working in this environment right now. I have 3 children of my own. So from a very early age, I've encouraged them to be into arts, and we've done crafts together, and in our spare time, we're always doing something to do with arts and crafts. The benefits for me are, like I say, endless for children. It's about them expressing themselves, giving them the opportunity. So if you can give them a blank piece of paper, you'll often find that they'll draw pictures that they're interested in, whether it's cars, whether it's dolls, family. They often draw family a lot of the time. And then if you go further into their education, you can use art as a way of learning. So anywhere from doing maths to doing science to doing English, literature, storytelling, I would always encourage to use art as a way of learning. So in maths, that might be that you're doing fingerprints maybe to start off at a very early age, and then counting fingerprints. And by actually doing something physical, it's more likely that they're able to remember what they're doing.
I can imagine also, because then you can also visualize the numbers somehow, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
By seeing what you've painted yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you'll often find activities like either you can use your fingers, dip them in paint and draw the numbers, trace over numbers with paint, color in numbers, and even craft-wise, you can use Play-Doh. You know, Play-Dohs are really good. We talk about art, and yes, we do painting here, but it's also very important to use other art materials. You know, the Play-Doh can be manipulated into numbers. You can use it to count, science experiments.
Wow, it is endless, as you said. It's amazing.
It is endless. It is endless, and it's very interesting to see the kids and what they draw as well.
My daughter just recently celebrated her first birthday, so she is still really
that's
little,
lovely. Yeah.
but she has started painting with crayons.
Yes.
And I have this coloring book, and she just scribbles around, and she finds it fun. And her attention span is obviously too short to really finish a whole painting.
Yes.
But I think it's really important to start early and just show her, you know, about the different colors and what she can do with it. And I was just wondering, I mean, I give her a coloring book with different shapes and characters. Do you think that's a benefit, or do you think it would be better to just give her a blank paper and she can just start, you know, freestyling?
I mean, for me personally, I mean, everybody has their own opinions, and I think both have benefits. But for me, I would always say it's better to give them a blank piece of paper. The reason I say that is because for the expressive bit, by giving them a blank piece of paper allows them to be free to express whatever they want, and whether that's at 11 months old where they just want to scribble, there's so much in that as well, because they're learning so much about space, spatial awareness, about color.
And cause and consequence, right?
Cause and effect, you know, if I get this crayon and I'm making this mark, it's making a mark and I'm doing that. So I would just allow them to scribble with crayons, with pencils, and then you'll see the development as they get older. I mean, as I say, into certain characters, on a rainy day, it's good to print off some characters that they might enjoy to color, but don't be afraid that your child is scribbling and going out of the lines.
Of course,
absolutely.
Just encourage it,
Absolutely.
like be free.
Encourage it.
And so what do you think is the earliest age where you can, you know, give your child a pen and paper? I mean, you mentioned 11 months, but what's an ideal age to start?
As soon as they're grabbing something for me, I mean, there's so many tips that I can give on how to, I mean, a lot of people, I guess, in their home, you do want a clean environment. You don't want to always be cleaning up mess. Yeah, understand. So what I used to do with my children is I used to put them in the bathtub and I used to give them safe paintbrushes, and allow them to paint all over the bathtub and the wall. Because then you can just get the shower afterwards and shower them down. And they come out clean and you have a clean environment.
They're happy, you're happy, no hassle.
10-20 minutes of activity.
I'm definitely doing that, it's a good idea.
Yeah, and then just a clean environment where you're not worried about making mess. So in the kitchen, give them a space, give them trays, give them paper and the crayons. So they're not going to scribble on the sofa. That's not
Yeah, that's what
she
I'm
wants to
actually.
happen.
I'm
Yeah.
teaching my daughter right now that you write or you draw on.
Yeah, you can have
on the
your
book.
creative space. You
Yeah.
know, whether that's on the kitchen floor. I mean, that's what I used to do.
Yeah.
Each had a tray with paper and
Yeah.
crayons or pencils,
Amazing.
and they would just scribble around.
Nowadays, it's really, really tough to get into certain schools, even for little kids, getting into nursery or preschool. And sometimes they even do tests, right? When you apply to these schools and they kind of analyze what your child has painted. And they go through these milestones anyway, right? Where gradually it'll become more and more sophisticated looking, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, another example is a landscape. What you'll often find if you look at child's art, if they're doing a landscape, is they'll have a line of blue at the top for sky and grass at the bottom, and maybe the tree will be on top. And in between, there's nothing. There's
Just white space.
It's just white space. And this is what I'm seeing with my eldest now, who's now 8 years old, and comparing it to my child who is 5. My 5-year-old will still have that space, but my 8-year-old is now drawing hills, and the sky will meet those. So he's realizing spatial awareness and actually, perspective in a certain way. It's very, very fascinating.
So it's quite different, I imagine, teaching children how to paint and grown-ups.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because I'm going to be taking lessons from you with
Yes,
your
I
kids
know,
in a minute.
I know, and you're going to come with all the innovation. You're going to be worried about what you'll produce and will it look good or will it be good enough? And you'll be able to see how the child will just start. They'll start, they'll be into it, and they'll finish. It's very different. I mean, when you are teaching a child art, of course you're going to be encouraging skills. It depends on their age. The Jamjar do take classes from the age of 4, but they do encourage you to come with your child from day one. Maybe you just want to do a footprint. But from the age of 4, they're able to sit and listen for a short period of time, and you can learn basic skills. You can learn about color, you can learn about space, about shape, about object, and about expression. When the adult comes to learn, they're coming to learn how to paint. So it's very different. They want you to be able to tell them what to paint and
more
how to do
technical
it.
maybe as
Yeah,
well?
they'll come with that because they actually do want to learn the technical skills. So you can see the comparison. The child just wanted to come to paint, to get messy, to have fun. Where the adult will be coming, yes, they want to have fun with it, but they'll want to take away something from that lesson in terms of skill and technique.
For someone like me who hasn't painted in a while,
Okay.
how many lessons do you recommend I take?
It really depends on what you want to achieve. I'd say if you want
Picasso?
to become, I'd say if you want to become competent and actually be able to go home and do self-study and practice by yourself, I'd say you would need to take a good 4 basic lessons and then go on to maybe 8. And if you want to continue, there's always learning that can be done with art. I mean, even for me, I have a degree in fine art, but I would say I still haven't learned everything.
I'm hoping to learn from you and your kids because we're going to be painting all
that should be
together.
fun.
Should we go and start?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so yeah, that's right. Just push the paint, and maybe you need to add some more water.
I
Well, yeah.
I'm painting this, see? It's
painting
a
the
still
still life.
Still life.
Still life.
The
Still life?
vase.
What is a still life?
Yeah, the cup.
A still life is when you put objects that will stay still, and then you can paint them like we did that one time when we painted the apple and the lemon.
Thanks, Lindsay, again for showing me how to paint.
You're so very welcome.
And to our viewers out there, I really recommend that you try it out yourselves. As always, if you have any comments or suggestions, get in touch with us on our social media pages. I'm Gabriella, this is Lindsay for The Good Life.